Hello and welcome to a compilation video of my first 21 days of working on the van. It's been sped up a little bit to shorten it down a little bit, but it's little clippets of each day for the last 21 days, just to give you an idea of what I got up to. Obviously, if you want to go look into it in detail, look up each video on my timeline. Enjoy. Is to strip this ply lining. As you can see, I've taken all the ply lining out, all around the sides and the floor. I did notice some of these are loose, so I'm going to have to get some more sticky to re-stick them back on. Also some over here, if everybody hasn't checked that when they do their van conversions, these are come unstuck, which cause noise you don't want. So during my rust treating process, I'm going to have to attempt to fix this. This is a common fault, and you'll see it on many videos, where the side trim clips let water in. And this is proof that it does actually do that, and you can see the damage it has done. And just like magic, one panel off, two panel off. As you can see, there's multiple cross step, so I'm going to get those out and pop it off. And there you go, one step popped off. As you can see, a load of crud build up underneath there. And you can see the bottom of it, it's just got these spread outable clips that sit in the holes. But what I didn't realise is Sprinter and their infinite wisdom, or Mercedes should I say, decided that putting bolts down here was a great idea to help people get it in and out. This side is somewhat easier. Look at that. Just fold the seat forward and move it forward. Well, that's a bonus, isn't it? And there we go. Well, I have got the bulkhead out. This is the goop behind the seats. Yeah. Lovely goop. You can see, yum. But nice and clean. Oh, hang on, some more money. I'm getting rich here. I mean, I found 30p, and now another, whatever that is, 10p, or 40p. Got the van cheap. Another little treasure found underneath the driver's seat. Don't know what it is. Don't know how old they are, but it's just an empty tin of old sweets. So, as you can see, a lot of paint come off. All the loose paint scrubbed back to bare metal, ready for treating. As you can see, let me just get up in the van. Oh, there we go. Worst bit being here, it's laminated a little bit, but no holes like it was hoped. So that's good. Working our way back, as you see, just a lot of bare metal. As you can see, this is how much bare metal there was. Unbelievably. Some had little patches, so I just painted over the whole area just to make it a little bit easier, but as you can see, I've coated everywhere. So starting off with, I found his lovely power connection down here, which was just stuffed into a terminal and then taped over. Excellent job there. And then it comes underneath and goes up this door pillar. So the wires then come through the original boxing all the way along to a beacon that's on the roof, which is going to be removed as well. Also dirty. Ugh, look at this grime everywhere. Need more cleaning. I've accomplished all the wiring. As you can see, it's a lot less messy all the way down that side. Didn't need to be there because I'm going to rewire it for what I need at a later date. What I've taken off the van today. So this frame, it's a spare wheel carrier. Since I've had the van, it has been bent and unusable, so it's all extra weight that I don't want on the van anymore. I'm going to just put the spare wheel on the back door or under the bed. I took out these LED strip lights. They're not very bright and they're not quite heavy. And then the mounting of wire that was wiring it all up. So today I'm just going to address the little bits like, you know, where these are not attached to the side of the van anymore. I may attempt to take the light off the roof and reseal that. I've removed the light from the roof. The sun's come out for a minute, so I thought I'd risk it. So the roof's all cleaned up. As you see, there's a lot more holes here than I thought there was going to be, but they're all cleaned up. I'm back on the roof. I've got it all sealed. It looks a bit messy, but I just used the bolts that hold it down the original floor because they had a nice large head, and I've just put sealer on them all to seal all these old holes in the roof up. As shown before, the loose bits on the side of the van, I just got some polyurethane sealer and resealed them to the side of the van, so once that goes off that shouldn't vibrate. So what I'm going to be tackling today is underneath the side panels. As you can see, all the way along, it's actually worse than I imagined under here, but I'm going to have to clean all that up and see where I am with it. Inside it dribbles past these clips, down the metal, and rots the inside. So I decided to pull a few more panels off. I found holes, no little holes, but there's rust all around there, which I've started scraping off. As you see, the seam isn't looking its best either, but it hasn't come apart, so I'm going to treat it best I can and seal it so that it hopefully won't let any more water in. A few little holes there, and then this bit actually rotted out all the way through, and we're making a little panel to go up in there. Got a new hole in that will hold the end clip. There's a screw that comes in from the other side of the wheel arch, holds the end of the panel on. The problem with that is all the dirt from up in there has got into the panel and then rotted it out. So that's how far I've got so far. As for the next step, I'm just going to start working on this inside as well, cleaning all this up so that I can see where I am with this lot. But that goes all the way through. As you can see, it's all dribbled down from those clips that I was saying about earlier. So you see we've got the patching ready to re-secure the side panel, which is good. I've cleaned up down through here. Just looking at patching that up. Okay, so now onto the inside. As you can see, the water got down in there all the way along. Now I can't physically get all that out, I don't know if you can see very well, but get all that rust out. So the water doesn't sit on this lip in the future, we've decided we're going to blow it down so the water can run off. So after I've treated it and that, it won't just sit on it and rot it again. Okay, next update, we've welded a patch into there. I just covered it in some etch primer for now because we've got to do a bit more work on it. And then got my angled down bit there. I've treated that all the way along, here. Covered that in some treatment as well, and also done a bit of treatment under the wheel arch because there was a load of flaking off rust there too. So this is how far I've got today. As you can see, I've got the rust treatment down right down inside there as much as I could possibly get in there. I will be closing the gap back up once I've finished, just leaving it open to dry. Okay, just to show you what I'm up to, down in there, you can see it's a bit cleaned up, and then again right down in there, you know, all the little nooks and crannies of, you know, where water's sat and started to rot it through, little bits and bobs. Okay, so how far have I got today? Well, as you can see, every little bit of rust, little scrape all the way where screws have been in. Obviously the places I said about, right down in the wheel up, down the sides, all treated. Now this is the first time I've used this rust treating before, and I must admit I'm quite chuffed with it. Just started on the outside bits. Just shut this door with a patch on my wheel arch there. But if we come around the back here, see, this is a bit I done the other day and it's just solid. As you can see, it's cleaned it back as best I can so I can treat it. There's a little hole there which I'm going to have to fix. Obviously the bottom of the door is really rotten, unfortunately. Well, they do a repair panel, but I'll probably just make up some plates and fix it that way. This corner rotted out due to the fact that the side panel, which is like hardboard original side panel, that had been sitting down in a corner there and trapping all the moisture. So that corner rotted out because of that. So if you have any side panel missing in your Sprinter, make sure it's not in the bottom, because this is what happens. You can light with a torch. Yeah, ooh, there we go. As you can see, sat down in that corner and rotted it out. There we go. Rust treated it all along here. Looks a bit messy, but yeah, I'd rather it be sealed and not rust any further. Okay, so what I'm addressing today is this. See the bubbling rust above the windscreen. So what I've done is I've managed to peel off the seal around the window. It's just sort of clipped, sort of hooks over the edge of the windscreen, which is great. As you can see, I don't know if you can see, but all up in these channels is muck, and you can understand why now it rots out. So, okay, so like any job on the Sprinter so far, the job gets bigger. As you can see, I've managed to get the seal right off, but there's rust underneath the window, up the side of the window. So I'm gonna have to treat all that as well. Ready for paint, all the way up round. As you see, I've masked it off so I don't get paint, the rust treating paint over the window. Believe it or not, the top isn't that bad compared to the bottom. I've managed to get, as you can see, the rust treatment on that and covered all of it, just in case there's rust that I didn't see while I was going over. A general decent coat all the way round. As you can see, it's nicely sealed everywhere, and I didn't get any on the window, which is nice. Okay, so off camera I've just retaped round the window ready, and then I'm going to end up putting this so that the spray paint doesn't go out anymore. So I've keyed all the paintwork with like 180 grit sandpaper and spent half my life taping up so that the paint doesn't go where I don't want it to go. Okay, so I've just thrown on a light coat, first coat, and then I'll address any areas like a little run there, put a bit too much on. And okay, so you can see it better now as I've flattened it back a bit again with some sandpaper. And I've keyed it up again for a second coat and wiped down the panels again for any dust, loose dust. So hopefully a second coat will go on nicely. Okay, so second coat's on. I don't know if you can see again that it's still where the rust was. It's gone a bit funny, so I'll have to sand it down again, do another coat. Okay, so that's third coat on now. Looking reasonably well for a DIY paint job. By the way, don't follow how I paint because it's wrong probably. Dusty yard is probably not the best place to paint anything in, but there we go. Obviously where the main rust was up on the roof, that is a bit bubbly, but it's not rust, it's been converted and it's sealed, so happy with that. At the top of the van you can see my masked off area that I painted black. Doesn't look 100% awful, but it's definitely better than it was, and I've sealed in all the rust. Just got to neaten it up later date, but I'm just going to get this seal back in now and that'll be the job done. Okay, so here we are at the end of it. Looking reasonably good. I quite like it. Come up reasonably well. And now the disaster. I cracked the screen, getting the seal back in. Last job, and it's cracked. So now I'm going to have to get the window out, or a new windscreen put in. As you can see, the original rust treatment has fully cured, so I'm going to give the floor another clean, because where I've been walking up and down it is trapped mud in. And I'm going to then hammerite the whole floor. Okay, so all cleaned up now, and I've given the floor a quick going over with some 80 grit paper. Got to give the floor a wipe down now, and then I can put the paint on. Okay, so I'm part way across the floor, and I think we can all agree that is miles better. Okay, so a little bit more done, and I've done a little like dirt swage line, if you like, the original, and then paint over. Right, so that is the floor fully coated. I hope you agree, it's miles better. Miles better. So on today's episode, sorting out more rust, as you can see, behind the rear side panel. As you can see from the little assuming rust on the wheel arch, then goes into holes underneath, more holes, and a big hole. Okay, on to the next step. We've cleaned it back there, and then made a panel that will cover that hole like that, and then we've got to make a little panel to go up in that one. Okay, so while the welding's going along, I thought I'd pop the old lock off the door. Now these are going to stay on because I like the added security. They do look a little bit mucky and nasty, but behind it. Okay, so this is where we are with this. Like the side panel, I bent that lip down a little bit just so that the water doesn't sit on it, so it can run off. And there's the patch over the hole. You just got to look at this one next. Okay, so I've cleaned these bits up. Okay, so next update, we've done this. We've cut that out because that was wafer thin. We've added that panel, which cut all the rot out all the way down. So there's that bit done. Over here, I've rust treated the panel here and here, and I've started putting coats of paint on the brackets. So that's where we're up to. Okay, so now I've got all the rust treating on, like all the other projects I've done in the van. Yeah. Reattach these for now. So today I'm tackling this side, and just as a little bit of proof from what I've been saying in past videos, is the water sits on this ledge, you see. So I'll put a bit of water there just to show you, and then that finds its way in and rots it. So the sealer that they put on to seal the joint holds the water. Same on this one, where it's rotten, the water sits. About that, I've done my signature bending down of the lip to stop the water sitting on. This side is pretty good. Obviously, lip bent down to stop the water sitting on. Okay, I just sealed along there with my polyurethane sealer again. Seal the holes. Then once I put a top coat of paint over that, that'll seal the whole lot up nicely. So I've got the 50mm thermal fleece. I also bought their cleaning spray and their adhesive spray, a couple of cans of that. This is their hexagon sound deadening mat. I've got the 10mm thermal liner, which will go against the side panels to stop any moisture. This is the underlay for the floor, so it's like got the bitumen layer, it's like this, and then a small amount of insulation, which was just enough for the floor. You don't generally need to do the floor because heat rises. So that's that. So obviously I've got 3 boxes of those. I've got 2 of these, I've got 4 of those, and then 20 of these sheets. And my next order came from Magnum Motorhomes. So I managed to get the swivel seat bases from them. I've gone for these windows, which are a glass outer with an acrylic inner, make it double glazed. These are curved frames to help with the, so there's a bit of details there for you if you wanted to look them up yourself. So after my epic failure with the windscreen, I thought I'd update you on how bad it got. I don't know if you can see the cracks got bigger on this side. Ooh, that there. And I've also noticed there's one little one there and another one climbing the window up there. So my update from the delivery is from Magnum Motorhomes is my water tank. As you said, it's nice to see made in Britain every now and then. It's an 89 litre Sprinter water tank. Okay, so like the back door, the side door has one of these as well. So okay, so as you can see, I've popped it off and rust. What a surprise. So I'm going to have to treat that. Okay, so that's that now rust treated. can see all the bare patches covered. I'm gonna have to see what happens with this bit when the door shuts. I mean, it'd be a good test to see if that needs to go back a little bit so it doesn't keep scuffing the paint off there. Okay, so I've cleaned them back quite a bit. As you can see, they're nice and solid still. So what I might do is treat them in a rust treatment so they can't rust again. Okay, so that's it back on. A lot better, not rusty. Obviously it's only in the rust treatment at the moment, but you must admit it just looks so much better just cleaned up. Okay, so this is where I've got up to. I've put a tiny bit of filler over where we welded the patch on so I can smooth out the lines before we put spray paint on there. Done a bit of sealer on a few questionable bits along there just to make sure water doesn't get in. And now just going to sand that back and then get a bit of paint on. So I've used the hammerite that I've done inside. The reason I've used the hammerite is it fills little holes, also fills in any cracks and that where a spray can wouldn't do that. Okay, so I've done this bit as well. This is drying nicely, all nicely sealed, which is peace of mind. And this is what they've uncovered for me. Now they were gonna hopefully fit the window today, but seeing how bad this is underneath. So the first point where the window cracked, as you can see, is pretty bad. So this is what's lurking underneath your windscreen. So this is the windscreen, and this is where it originally cracked. And as you can see, laminated rust that is literally not attached to the vehicle at all. That laminated and cracked the windscreen. And then you go along, it's all the way along, as you can see, it's just separated from the body. Not even attached anymore. Then this side, it cracked there. It was the one that came up the driver's side and a little one over there, and it's all where the rust is laminated. So I just thought I'd point out where I'd put the rust treatment in previous videos. It is an absolute pain to scrape it back because of the rust treatment has bonded all the rust and treated it, see? So it goes to show it does do its job, because that is a lot harder to do than the stuff that was underneath the seal. Okay, so here we have my brother Tim, the spanner man. In previous videos I've mentioned him. He's come to my rescue yet again. Helped sort out the rust around the window. Okay, so this is where I'm up to. I've rust treated all the way along there again. So it seals the rust before I put any filler on there. You come around here, I'm coming up here. You'll see I've bared it back. I've got a wire wheel into these bits so that it gets it all out the bottom of there. I've gone back over the original reason I started this in the first place, is that bit just there. But as it seems, the bit down the bottom was 10 times worse. So yeah, that's really fine fiberglass filler he's mixing up there, ready to go on. This stuff's easier to sand down than the regular fiberglass filler you'd normally get from most places. So he's just trying to level it out as best he can so that we don't have to sand it down too much. And this will seal up those odd holes that are in the metal. Would have welded it if obviously it wasn't an awkward job, but this should seal it just as well. Now why are we putting it over the rust treatment? Because if you put it on before, the rust wouldn't have been treated and it would have laminated underneath the fiberglass. So you rust treat the metal first, then apply your fiberglass, and that should hopefully prevent it coming back. Okay, so from yesterday's video, obviously you see that I put on the rust treatment that I'd previously used on the rest of the van all the way around the window. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand this back nice and smooth. I'm then going to put on an etch primer over this. Even though this is a rust treatment, I'm going to put etch primer over that to seal it again. Okay, so layer 3, and as you can see it's really starting to cover nicely now. Nice clean flat lines all the way across up there. It's a white based primer, but it's doing well. Right, so there's the second coat on. As you can see, it's starting to cover a lot nicer now. The last little job for today, I'll put this seal back on the dashboard just so I don't forget, and they fit a windscreen and then I can't get it back on. So on today's video I've got this primer. This is the primer they use to help the adhesive stick the front window in. So I've got this in advance to test the paintwork that I'd done on the van, because after some research I found that 1K paint is not good for under windscreens, but if it's left to air long enough it should be fine. So that's my test for today. Okay, so you can see from the video, I started there and I've gone all the way down to the bottom just as a tester, and also on the other side I did the same. So from here down there I've put some of the primer on. Now you can't see it that well because the primer is black, but as you can see it hasn't bubbled the paint up or anything, so it's done well. So new windscreen, look at that, fucker job, absolutely spot on. Lovely guys from the window company, Premier Auto Glaze, as I said before. Look at that lovely window. And also, as I said before, I've had the upgrade. As you can see, nice blue tint at the top. Well happy with that. Air Plus Nordic air vent for the roof. Next up is my solar kit. So I got this from a company called Voltonic. Now the kit starts off with, I've got 4 solar panels which equal up to 800 watts. They're type N, which means they come with the ability to help with shading. Now the base kit comes with and a 60 amp breaker that goes in the cable. Comes with the cables that come down from the solar panels as well. Also an isolator. In addition, you can add bits to the kit. So I've got a 2000 watt inverter that come with the kit. Because I bought it with the kit, you get a little bit of a discount on it. Again, I decided to get a DC to DC charger from them. Now this kit also comes with the cables, so you get... Okay, so as I said, these got the anti-shade technology, the Type N panel. Now I've only seen these from Victronic and Renogy. So Renogy ones look identical, seem to have the same power rating, seem to have exactly the same technology. So they've got 16 bus bars that come down through each cell, so that when they get shaded, they've got bypasses. So on a moving vehicle or something that's going to be shaded under a tree or anything, ideal situation. So that's what I've gone for these panels for. And as the trims are off, I thought, why not? Let's neaten them up. So I've got some plastic primer and some satin black paint, make them look nice and fresh again. And this is how I'm getting on with painting the trims. This side, as you see, that's the first coat of the satin black. All cleaned up, ready to go. Got that one to do. I've got primer on these, with help from Tim the Spanner Man again. Okay, so that panel is on. And I've got the clips all sealed, ready for this panel. Okay, so the end result. You can see, I haven't done this panel, or that one. And then it goes lovely. All the way along here. Cleaned up lights. Lovely and black across there. All the way around. There. And there. And as you can see, the difference, look at that. A little bit of touch up. Makes a world of difference on that old tired side bit. Now that will be done later, but I was getting the ones done that I needed to get done. So okay, so that is 21 days of my Sprinter camper build. So I hope you enjoyed it. With time restrictions, looking after my mum and other commitments, having the time to actually do the van is hit and miss, but I'm getting there slowly. I've also got a deadline because I want to use the van in 2 weeks' time, which I should have kept an eye on the time, the date, and so I've got to try and somewhat build a sort of camper, hopefully, by the time the show comes around. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.